Hi everyone, Brian from Variable Traders here. It is the weekend, December the 10th. This is the weekend video. We'll look back at what happened last week and take a look ahead, see what we got coming up this week. And it's a big week, a big Fed week here. Everybody's anticipating the Fed announcement on rate hikes here, so let's get down to it. And as always, starting out, week in review, December 5th. Markets sold off this week. There was mixed economic data that came out, but there's certainly concerns about pending recession that's weighing on investors and traders' minds. And so we got actually a pretty significant sell-off into the close there on Friday. But Friday's PPI number that everyone was watching for, the wholesale price index, it was much higher than expected. And of course, that indication that inflation is still a concern, although the PPI number, as most of these numbers are, mostly backward looking. So maybe there's some hope that that was the case. But anyway, that number did come in hot. And you can see here what happened with the indexes. Worst week since, I believe, September, where the Dow, the QQQ, SPY, all down significant. IWM took the biggest hit on the week. Of course, in a recession, the small caps are going to fare the worst, and out of a recession, they do tend to perform the best. But today, or this week, they performed the worst. All the sectors were down on the week. Utilities and healthcare were the two sectors that lost the least amount of ground there. Energy just continues to be weak. Again, energy a indicator of economic activity, and if you believe that that's on the decline, then obviously energy under some price pressure there. Communication services, and I believe you can throw the consumer discretionaries were in there, and some of the biggest loser sectors as well. On the Treasury front here, we did get a slight uptick over the week on the 10-year and the 2-year, but that spread, that negative spread between the 2 and the 10 is still there. Big big inversion on the yield curve. Main is still in play there. Again, indicator of possible recession. And the US dollar just strengthened up a little bit on the week, obviously up a little bit of the week, a little bit on the week because of the treasuries being up. And Bitcoin still hanging around that 17,000 level. And before we start looking at some charts, quick ad for my book on Amazon, new book on Amazon. It's a guide to the money management rules, strategies, and the routines of an active stock, and even threw some options ideas in there for you, so you can check that out on Amazon. Anyway, let's start looking at some charts here. And as always, we'll start out by looking at the treasuries, see what the 2-year and 10-year. See, we're really flattened out on the 2-year. We had this massive run up, and now we're just trading sort of flat line along here, a little bit of up and down as markets kind of adjust their outlook on the potential for a recession and what the Fed are saying they're doing with interest rates in the short term. So you can see the 10-year has pulled back a little bit now, and sort of an indication maybe that they're thinking that maybe a recession's in play, and they'll be lowering interest rates relatively, or sometime in the future, maybe not in the immediate future, but anyway, still that big spread between the 2 and the 10. Transports this week, as I said, was a big sell-off week. We had a big drop on the we had a big drop on Friday, and then or Monday, and then we just continued to drop here. We're back down at a level here where you can see there is some support here, so we'll see what I think the markets are just kind of going to wait here and see what comes out of the CPI number on Tuesday, and then comments from the Fed on Wednesday. It's going to be a big day for that. So you can see here we've really, again, sort of double topped on the Dow as well here. A little bit of a false breakout, then we've broken down back into this trading range where especially we're essentially an area where we broke out from. And I expect a little bit of a choppy session Monday, and waiting for that number to come out on Tuesday on the CPI number. Again, we've got on the weekly volume a little bit lighter on this sell-off. The Qs, again, sort of back into an area where we broke out from, and it's been choppy. We've been trading in this range pretty much since middle of November. We've been sort of like in a trading range here. We're at the bottom end of that range right now. Again, volume certainly light on that is the Thanksgiving Day weekend, obviously, but volume been pretty light compared to these prior weeks here. So again, participants kind of just sitting back waiting to see what happens here next week. The SPY, sort of same story. Again, lighter volume than these weeks here. And we are going into the Christmas season, so volumes do tend to get a little bit lighter as well here. The IWM, let's take a look at that. Again, we seem to be kind of chopping in a range. We're at the bottom end of this range right now, back near some levels of support. And on a weekly basis here, again, sort of range bound in this area right here. Actually goes back here and here. So yeah, we are sort of trading in this range, and again, just waiting to see what the Fed is going to say, obviously. So the VIX was really oversold when we looked at this chart last week. We were really down. We were under 20, probably down even below this level, this prior level back in August, and so definitely overdue for a little bit of a bounce here. So we've come back up, and we're back up into sort of this area here where we've filled this gap again, and yeah, I guess again we'll be waiting to see what the Fed announcement brings us on Wednesday, and the CPI number on Tuesday, which is coming up this week. The dollar, again, trading in a pretty narrow range. It's really sold off here since this big run up through the summer. And again, we're right back to an area where there should be some support, and that's kind of what we're seeing here now. This little bit of a gap here and prior resistance where we broke up, checked back to the area where we broke out from, and then went higher. That's a pretty classic breakout, check back, and then go pattern. So we'll see if it can actually hold this level. It's kind of a critical level here. And Bitcoin just really over the last 2 weeks really has not done really much of anything. Maybe trending up a little bit here, but trend is definitely still to the downside, and we'll see if it can manage to hold on to this sort of 16,500 level. So just covering a few stocks I'm still watching here, still looking at BA. You can see here BA has had a nice run back up here after putting in this double bottom. I am still long BA, small size. I did take some off this week, but I know there's some huge announcement coming this week about a big plane order from one of the U.S. Carriers, a big order for 787s. And usually those are sort of buy the rumor, sell the news. So I sort of found out about that big news this week, and kind of partly I think this run up has been in anticipation of this announcement. So I'll probably take the rest of off because knowing this announcement, it probably will pull back. Everybody knows about it. CRM, I'm still watching CRM here. It's definitely still selling off after this really big earnings disappointment. It's getting down into an area where on a monthly basis it should be finding some support here. So looking for an opportunity maybe to take advantage of oversold condition there. It does look like it's trying to hold here around this sort of 128 level. So watching CRM. Flex still long. It's definitely in an uptrend. Just staying with it. GDX, I got out of it. I got a bit of a run on it, but it's just looking a little choppy. And I usually don't like to hold metals going into a Fed speak, which will happen this week. Tesla's actually sort of holding up here. It's holding up around this 170 level, so possibility for a call or a put sale, I should say, just selling some puts, some 170 puts. You could buy some calls below it if you want, or puts below it if you wanted to do a covered spread, but just selling them naked, and it looks like it does have some support there. So possible put sale for next week. A little bit of a risky trade, but it looks fairly like 170 is trying to hold there. I got out of this. This is like dead money, and I had a small position in CCJ, so I got out of the uranium for right now. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. Energy's coming back down into an area where it should find some support and maybe bounce next week. Again, I think the challenge is going to be the CPI number, and the what the Fed says about their rate hike could dictate where this is going. If CPI comes in really hot on Tuesday, it's that number, it's going to be coming out Tuesday at 8:30, comes in really hot, that's going to sort of mean that while the economy is sort of churning along here, means the Feds are going to be more aggressive in their rate hiking and really trying to stamp the economy down, and that probably won't bode well for energy. Yeti, I'm still watching for a break and hold above this 46 level here. So that's keeping the watch list light, and we'll just see what happens on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then look for some opportunities there, because it's just that kind of a market right now. So let's wrap things up here. You can see here where we are on all the different indexes, the support and resistance levels that I see sort of relevant in the coming week here. And as far as economic events go, we've got CPI. This is a really much watched number that's coming out on Tuesday. Of course, we're going to see if this sort of mirrored the PPI number that came out on Friday that was hotter than expected. So everybody will be watching and reacting to that number when it comes out. Of course, we've got the much anticipated Fed meeting here on Wednesday, and sort of anticlimactic, but we do have a lot of retail sales numbers at 8:30 a.m. coming out on Thursday. And as far as earnings go, pretty light on the earnings front here. We do have a few interesting ones: Oracle, Lennar, Trip.com, and Adobe's always one that kind of moves up and down a bit here. So a few earnings to watch for, but the CPI number Tuesday and the Fed rate hike on Wednesday is going to be really the focus of next week, or at least up to and including the middle of the week there. So see how the things respond to that. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good weekend, and of course we will be starting out again Monday morning as always, 8 o'clock, engineering the markets, and then pre-market show, and of course with our members at 9:30 trading the market open. So hope to see you at one or all of those events, and we'll enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Bye for now.